In Rayclast, one mistake is all it takes. In Hardcore Solo Self-Found, that mistake is permanent. No stash, no party, just bones, willpower, and the dirt under my boots. I am the Last Exile Standing. I woke up where all the damned do, washed up, half dead, and weaponless on the edge of the riverbank. Another exile. Another mistake the Empire was too proud to bury properly. No name, no mercy, just the faint stench of rot, and the thought that I'd probably die again soon enough. A stranger lay dying nearby, his blood seeping into the mud. Just a final gesture, a weapon, a withered wand, chaos infused. Not what I had hoped for. But in Hardcore Solo Self-Found, you don't start with what you want. You start with what's given to you. So for now, chaos will have to do. I pressed on, following the coast. The first skill gem awaited me in a weathered-born chest. Unearth. A small gift, summoning bones from the ground. More symbolic than effective, without the right supports. But paired with a rattling scepter, looted from a nearby chest, I now had warrior minions at my side. Bones and blades. It wasn't much, but in this place, it meant a chance of survival. Deeper inland, I found him. The Bloated Miller. Fat with decay. Slow but relentless. This world doesn't wait for you to be ready. The Miller was a cautionary tale, swollen with decay. He was slow, but there's something tragic about the slow ones. I ended him with spells meant for rats, but it was enough. My journey had blood on it now, and it wasn't mine. And with the Miller dead, the path to Clearfell encampment opened. Some say towns are a reprieve. I wasn't sure I'd make it here. A safe zone, they said. But there's no such thing in Rayclast. Just quieter places where the dead haven't remembered how to walk yet.
We could sorely use your skills in these dark times. I'll smith for you what I can, if you're willing to bend your violence toward our defense.
But in Hardcore Solo Self-Found, they're just another reminder that you're alone. Clearfell was quiet, half abandoned. Staring at the few people scattered across its broken square, I realized this might be the only town I ever see. The town hosted very little. A vendor for wands. Perfect. A vendor for armors. Perfect. A stash that is empty. And a healing fountain. That's all we need. At Una's stall, the gods smiled. A bone wand. Not the one I'd been praying for. Affordable barely with selling my gloves. Not the +1 to physical skills and plus 25% physical damage that had been sitting there taunting me. I was broke, underleveled, but I took what I could. The bone wand granted bone blast. My true powers finally able to start waking up. A cursed explosion of bone shards around my unearthed corpses. Brutal, deliberate, and beautiful. As a reward for taking care of the Miller, Renly handed me another gift. A skill gem. This allowed me to add skeletal snipers. The start of my ranged minion backbone. Still underpowered, but the archetype was forming. Bones and minions. This was it. Clearfell's silence was eerie. I knew there was more out there. Stretched out in all directions, I had to cut my way through it, testing Bone Blast's range and letting my warrior minions soak damage. As I traveled around Clearfell, I felt the temperature drop. Bits of snow froze my toes, and that's when I saw her, Beira of the Rotten Pack. Her icy projectiles cut through the forest air, She stood calm in the storm she built. I threw bones at her until something cracked. A frost nova slams the ground, and wolves erupt from either side, twisted, frozen things. I pressed inward. Bone blasts cracked the silence. My minions collapsed her flank. She fights like the winter itself, sudden, merciless, but not immortal. When her frost finally faded, the only thing left standing were bones. I took her head of the winter wolf, plus 10% cold resistance. Might not seem like much, but in this world, the smallest edge is everything. I felt the need to help this small town that I had been through. This Devourer seemed to be a big problem for them. I pressed onward through Clearfell, trying to find its burrow. The woods grew wetter. Slime clings to the roots. I follow the stench underground. Something's alive down here. It awaits in the dark, the Devourer. All bile and chaos. My minions kept it distracted, but not enough. It got close. Too close. The ground shook, not with sound, but with hunger. The Devourer rose like a curse spoken aloud. Spikes of chaos, a maw of silence. I rolled, fired. Rolled again. Somewhere in the dark, my minions finished it off. I never thanked them. As the creature fell, I almost felt like a weight lifted from the town. I should go see Renly and let him know the news. He rewarded me with his support gem. I chose fast forward and linked it to Bone Blast. Now, to try and find out what's happening to this place. The Grelwood would be my next stop. The Grelwood was different. Less a forest, more a memory wrapped in fog and rot. I stepped in and met Delwyn, wandering, whispering about Asmerian wisps. I followed one, unsure if I was tracking a spirit or being led to my end.
Keep on him.
It danced through the overgrowth and then vanished, and from its echo a twisted creature rose, wreathed in ghost light, stronger than anything I'd faced so far. It attacked without thought, pure instinct, pure fury. I didn't fight it. I survived it. Sometimes that's all we're meant to do. With the creature now defeated, my mind turned to the hut I had passed while following the wisp. There had to be something there to check out. Areagne, the forgotten witch. Her lair pulsed with cold and curses. She blinked across the clearing, ice lacing the air after her. The fight was chaotic. She stacked degenerating effects until I could barely stand. My screen half blew from overlapping slows and hexes. She vanished and reappeared like a ghost that never asked permission. Areagne was cruel, not in word, but in rhythm. Cold rot, hexes, the kind of fight that lingers in joints. But I held, and eventually, she didn't. Her corpse left me a reward. A support gem. Brutality would be my choice. Bone Blast was now full physical, and far meaner. Inside her hut, I cracked open the cauldron, looting upgraded flasks. A small mercy, but one that would carry me a little bit further than I had expected. Trekking north, I found him, the Brambleghast. He died slowly, his roots trying to bind me in place while I kited and cast. Roots twisted, the earth turned against me. Brambleghast is not a beast, but a forest rejection. The kill rewarded me with the skill gem level 2, which I used to upgrade my skeletal snipers. Their arrows hit harder now, and I'd need that soon. As the Grelwood began to pulse with poison, I found an entrance. Grim Tangle. I entered the cave. Upon entry, it was impassable roots. Nothing I could get through right now. As the forest thickened again, I found it. A tree of souls. And upon its limbs hung a shade. A hooded one. I had to speak with Una. Ancient runes were needed. In a place of bones and blood. Sounds like a perfect place for me to visit. The Red Vale was sick with rust and the dead. Three obelisks of rust stood like warnings. Touching them summoned waves of dead. Rust-choked and violent. After each wave, I claimed a ruined girdle. Pieces of something older, ritualistic. Before touching the third and final one, I went back to town. I needed power. In Una's stock, I found something new. Nothing flashy, but a boned wand with plus damage, mana regen, and intelligence. It would do. No excuses for the fight ahead. As I activated the third obelisk, the Rust King rose from the red, hulking, clanking, metal infused with bone. His area filled with danger. Slams, summons, electricity. My minions shredded the smaller adds while I danced around his reach. Weaving bone blasts into his chest. It took everything, and when he died, I held the final girdle.
Very loud and very dull.
Back at the encampment, Renly crafted the rune spikes, and Una readied the ritual. It was time to awaken the Tree of Souls and free this shade. I returned to the Grelwood one last time, located the ancient seals beneath the tree, and impaled each one with a spike.
Goodbye. Good. Now the others. Do as I command. Release this shade to my service.
Something deep groaned, something older than the forest. The hooded one fell, wounded, dormant, barely alive, but his presence bent the wind. Una gave me a new task. To save him, I needed to find a relic buried in the Cemetery of Eternals. But to get there, I'd have to pass through one final gate. The grim Tangle stood before me. shrouded in twisted roots. The path was blocked, living vines pulsing with old magic. Una met me there, silently raised her hands, and sang with the Fey spirits. Beyond lay death, no doubt, but also purpose. One area down, one character still breathing, still standing. Let's see how long she lasts.